Hi, welcome to another episode of Your Digital Marketing Journey. This season, we are exploring entrepreneurship in the series Unboxing Entrepreneurship. So far, I have talked to entrepreneurs who've taken the plunge. But today, I'm going to talk to someone who's done it a little bit differently. I'm going to be talking to Priyanka Changia, the co founder of Hen. And she's going to tell us how did she come on as a co founder in a company that had already been created. We are going to talk about what her experience was like and what did she consider before becoming a co-founder. So let's get right into it.
Hi, Pallavi.
Hi, Priyanka. Welcome to Unboxing Entrepreneurship.
Thank you. It's my delight and pleasure to be part of this program, and thank you so much.
It's lovely to have you because you have a very different story from the other entrepreneurs so far that I have interviewed. Normally, entrepreneurs start with a passion, and then they start the company. They bring in a lot of founders together.
It is quite different. While I was always inclined towards entrepreneurship, but the big question was always how, what, why. And while I was thinking along these lines, nothing concrete had happened for me in my journey. So my journey is very simple. Like I started working straight out of college, and the intent was very simple that I wanted to pay for my preparing for my MBA, and so I took up a job which would provide me with that flexibility. So I started working with Genpact in supply chain management, and it was a night shift, so it kind of gave me time during the day to attend my classes and things like that, and prepare for that for my thing. But I joined for that, but you will not believe it. It took me 13 years to realize that, okay, I actually went on a very, very different path. So, what happened was, I chose to continue working, and I was enjoying the amount I was learning. Genpact is really good with their training programs and opportunities they bring, right? So, I was always gung ho about learning more, and from supply chain management, I progressed to analytics. And I spent 13 years, in research and market analytics and things around that. So, but after 13 years, I realized that this is not something I really want to do. I want to do something different. And so I thought I just went cold turkey. I was like, aise nahi hoga. So I quit my job, and I was like, now I'll figure out what to do. So in that process of figuring out and to think, I started working not actively, but on project things, on doing things to improve our family business. So, I kind of worked on improving the supply chain. And then there was a new project that came up, which was for manufacturing animal tags. So, kind of used my skill set to, and it was quite unfortunate when we took that project, COVID hit. And it was a huge project. And to execute that project in a lockdown mode was an absolute nightmare. So, we were doing almost 30,000 tags every day, and quality check needed to be done on those. And sitting remotely and to put a process together to ensure that we are able to do that was a journey in itself. So it was quite a good learning. And but again, there was always this gap that, okay, maybe this is not my calling. Like it's good for the time being. And then one fine day, Ruchi, she is my childhood friend, my first friend in the world. And she's like, I know you're on a sabbatical. I know you have time on your hands. And this is what I want to do at Hen. And can you give me some of your time? So we started with a 2 hour commitment that for 2 hours, I will, try and do whatever I can. So we started like that. But before I knew it, I just got so engaged. And before I realized, it became a passion project. Like it was like, yes, we have to do this together. Let's do these things, etc., etc. And for, I think we started in November until about April, we did all the things to bring the vision together that Ruchi had, right? So, and it was, I must say, um, I give a lot of credit to her for, actually, I did not know what community building is, right? So bringing me into that ethos, in that vision, that is something that she really worked upon, right? To understand what it means to actually build a community and to do it together and find a space that where you can, put that friendship aside and work together at a more professional way. So that is something that required that 4 5 months was actually a lot of that, right? To actually understand, to bring about the change, you need to first understand what the community is all about and what you are building, right? Then only you can do it together. So that was that. But trust me, this wasn't part of the plan. Like me joining Hen as co-founder, it was never discussed initially, or it wasn't that we started with the idea. We just started working together as friends, and then it was just more like, I was very invested, and it was a lot of complementary skills that we were bringing onto the table that kind of helped, like, put the jigsaw puzzle pieces together. So when we were launching in 2.0, that is when this idea came about, and that's how journey has been.
So I think even though your journey has been different, I believe, and all these conversations that I've had, I know for a fact that to be an entrepreneur, you have to have the passion. If you're motivated by money, if you're motivated by other external factors, then probably entrepreneurship is not for you. You're probably better off in a stable job. But for entrepreneurship, you have to feel what it is that you're creating. You have to like really identify with it, because that's what the motivation is, right? So in your case, even if what started out as a really small commitment, and it was just that you were helping out a friend, once your passion aligned with what she was doing, once you felt that you could add value to it, that's where you started thinking yourself as someone who could do this full time. So it's the same thing, right? You had the passion. It was just that you didn't know you had it, and someone gave you the opportunity to kind of explore that, and then that's when jackpot.
Yeah, so I would say it's like this, when I started working on it, it started, like I said, right, 2 hour commitment. But it was more like building blocks, right? So it wasn't that overnight I realized that, oh, let's do this. It wasn't like that. It was a very, very, very small baby steps, and every day when you were doing something that you could see would bring value to so many people, so many women entrepreneurs in the future once we roll out. And when you were putting these little pieces together, brick by brick, that's when you realize that something like this cannot happen just just for a 2 hour commitment or something like that, right? It is coming from somewhere deeper within, right? And the commitment was never there. It was just it was just taking shape as we went along, right? And that's how it actually happened. So it was it was a fruit of actually bringing passion, vision, and commitment together, and which resulted in this Hen 2.0 that we now have.
So, I mean, that was what your experience was. I would look at also, the other co-founder in this case, Ruchi's, because for her as well, she's been a part of Hen. She's created Hen, I think, for a very long time, right? So she's had a very clear vision of what is it that she wants to achieve. She has a lot of experience, what works, what doesn't work. So for her, I suppose also to bring in another person into the mix and kind of visualize that this person may start off as, someone who's kind of helping me right now, but can eventually grow into a co-founder. I believe that she would also have had to have done a lot of mindset. She would have had to have that mindset, of course, but she would also
Yeah.
need to have given herself time and your time to you, so that you both understand that this is the part together. So the building block part that you said, I believe that made the big difference. Like if you had started out with day one that are you okay to be the co-founder,
Yeah.
Priyanka, I believe that it would have been a bit of a there would have been a bit of a shock for you and for her, because it's a very large commitment in one go, right? Whereas this one, you're kind of easing into it.
Yeah, and frankly, to be very honest, Pallavi, it was never on the table kind of a thing, right?
Yeah.
Like we didn't start out like that. And having said that, yes, I do agree. It takes a lot. You actually sharing your baby, literally,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
She started this almost a decade ago. She started with a vision, and that is what it was all about. But to bring me to a zone where it became a shared vision, that was really the journey, right? To understand the core values that we share, that the passion is common, the vision is common, and to come onto that zone. From there, the leap was actually that made it happen, right?
Yeah.
So you have to first come to that point where you realize that as when you are going to be working together with somebody, that passion, the vision, the values, they are aligned.
Yeah.
And once that happens, then the next jump becomes very smooth, I would say.
Smooth, exactly. Yeah. So even though yours was a gradual shift, towards becoming a co-founder, as you said, it wasn't on the table at the start. So when it was actually discussed, when Ruchi asked you, did you have any thoughts at that point of time? Were you trying to still weigh the pros and cons of being a co-founder?
Yeah, definitely. Because till up until then, there was I would say up until that point when she actually asked me, and I still remember the day, it was kind of still a shocker for me, and it was a huge honor. And the biggest question I had in my mind was, what is the kind of commitment I will need to bring on the table, right? Like whatever was happening at that point in time, it wasn't anything formal, right?
Yeah.
So it was very easy to work with. But when you take up a designation, I feel that it brings a lot of responsibility with it. And with responsibility comes a commitment towards delivering those responsibilities.
Yeah.
Right? For me, the biggest question was that what is the kind of commitment it will require? And B, am I ready at that point in my life to be that, to give that, right? Because I had a young daughter, like she was just 6 years old then, and she had for a larger part of her life, for last 2 years, so 3-4 years, she had seen me not in a full-time working mode. So as a mother, and I always had this thing that whether I will be able to juggle the two, right? Because the period that I was working actively, like full-time, she was too young to realize. And when it was a formative years, 2 to 5 years kind of thing, I was always there for her. So my biggest challenge in that period was to see that if I can, actually justify both the things, right?
Yeah.
If I can actually give my best at both levels. So that is something that was the biggest concern I had in my head, whether I'm ready for this kind of commitment. So, I actually thought about it, and what I realized was that, we were both coming from a space where we knew each other since the beginning of time for us, right?
Okay.
So, there was always this comfort level and trust that, we had in each other. So, and I knew for a fact that, we can always work together things through things, whatever ups and downs that may come with it. Because see, when you are running a business, it's not one straight line or not one upward graph. Any entrepreneur here listening would agree to me that it's a wave, right? There are ups, there are downs. There are so many times you will feel that maybe nothing's working out. You will have your days, and it's like that, right? So I knew I was always comfortable that whatever it is that may come on this journey, we are in that space where we can handle those things because we are comfortable with conflicts. We are comfortable with discussing it, bringing it out, and rather than letting it pent up or being uncomfortable, asking those tough questions to each other, because you need to push each other, right?
Yeah.
You need to constantly work together, align things together so that you are able to reach that much closer to your vision and to your dream and whatever goals you've set out to achieve, right?
Yeah.
So that was, I think in my case, I was very lucky. I'm not saying that that is the only way to go, but like that's my postscript here. But yes, it definitely works in our favor, is what I would say. So, and plus, obviously, both Ruchi and I have complementary skills because she has been an entrepreneur from the beginning. I, had a corporate experience. She is excellent at graphic designing and, the whole brand management and marketing. My strengths are different. I like to work more with data. I am more good with, setting processes, flows together. So, we kind of complement each other. And I think that is very, very important.
All right. So after she asked you, did you still have further discussions to clarify what is it that the expectation is? I know you said that commitment, but there's also a monetary investment that a co-founder typically brings. That, of course, may be different for different people, but there is a monetary investment that a co-founder brings. There is a lot of responsibilities that perhaps are now only yours, like who's going to be the face of the brand, who's going to be, maybe doing the interviews versus who's going to be writing or who's going to be doing whatever else. So did you still have a lot of discussions before you signed on the dotted line?
So see, yes, we discussed the financials and we said that we would definitely, partner in that and we will bring that in. So that was never the issue. As in, it was quite clear as to what each one of us will be bringing to the table. And in terms of commitment and responsibility, both of us are on the same page. So what we do is we have our own individual spaces, right? So there are certain things that Ruchi handles, there are certain things that I handle. And we kind of work together wherever we need an opinion or, sort of brainstorming together that this is, this is the best way to do it. Or wherever I may feel stuck, I will reach out and vice versa. So we work together actively in terms of taking each other's opinions and, whether this is the right strategy. So from a strategy perspective, we work together, but not like at a minute level. So yes, we have things divided, so to say that, ABCD are my responsibilities and so on and so forth. But yes, we do have that space and the bandwidth to actually let our own creative visions grow, right? So that is the good.
Yeah, I believe that is extremely important. Whether you're co-founders, whether you're in a company, it is very important to have very clear responsibilities assigned. And you don't want somebody stepping on your toes all the time and telling you, I would have done this differently, or, why you're not doing this. It just hampers the growth of the company, right? So I believe you've done the right thing by having different responsibilities. Go ahead.
Yeah, and one thing I would like to add here that when the only thought in any discussion is what is best for the organization, I think all conversations just simply become very, 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 very focused, and there is no I there in that conversation, right? So that really helps because whatever we do, we actually ask ourselves and each other in this situation what is best for him. And it just makes things that much more clearer for us to move forward.
Yeah.
Because if you get stuck in the eyes, there is no end to it, right?
Mm,
So
mm,
the only question is all. We personally feel it's better to focus on what's best
mm.
for your organization or your company and just move forward with that. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Mm.
and be open to new ideas and listening to other people's opinions, because
Yes.
everybody looks at a situation with their own perspective and their own lens,
Mm,
right? So if you are taking a person's opinion, be
mm,
open to it and see that yes, this may be a different perspective and she is bringing her years of experience into it and vice versa, right? So
mm, mm,
it really helps. In fact, I remember in the initial days, so see, when you're work, I get very enthusiastic with any new project, right? So
mm.
you start ideating from all angles, but not
Mm,
all angles can work for a business, right? So I would, and I still rely on the years of experience which she has in this field, because I would always go back and tell her that, you know, this is what I'm thinking, but you don't need to agree with me. You can tell me what you think will
mm,
work and what will not work, and then we take forward from them. You know, so
mm,
I think that's very, very important to be
mm.
open to listening to other people's ideas and thinking that yes, this may be a better one to go
Yeah.
ahead with. And a lot of credit to Ruchi also for that, because she is the kind of person who is always willing to see new ideas or a new thought process, and this is something we constantly bring at hand. So when like whenever new interns or new employees are joining us, we always tell them that,
Mm,
you know, this is the way we are doing things, but
mm,
you know, we have a flat hierarchy here, and
mm.
if you feel that this is not right, like, or there is a better way to do it,
Yeah.
then please bring that on the table and we'll discuss and move forward with it,
Mm.
because we wanna just improve and grow this. So yeah.
Yeah, cool. All right. So I think your experience has been very helpful. I know that there are a lot of startups being created, dissolved, and so there is obviously a lot of discussion about finding a co-founder. In fact, I know a couple of people that I've worked with who are actively looking for a co-founder. So I know your
Okay.
experience helps. But I do have one last question. How is it to be a co-founder in a remote setup?
Frankly speaking, we don't feel the distance,
Mm,
because despite the fact that we have our own set of things that we are working on, we
mm.
are actively engaging.
Yeah,
It's very, very. I would say what's working for us. I can tell you that.
yeah.
You know, so what's working for us is the fact that we are connected, right?
Mm,
So in the sense, all the discussions they happen on one of these channels that we use. So first it was something else, then we moved to ClickUp, now we are on Slack. So all these apps really help you organize your work,
yeah,
keep the conversation structured, and and it kind of just makes the whole process of working together that much smoother.
right.
you know Zoom is there, definitely you can see each other, but not every time you would want to get on a Zoom call and
Correct.
discuss things, right?
Yeah.
So the process that we are following is that every morning at 9:30 sharp, the
Mm,
entire team gets together.
mm,
We discuss the agendas for the day. We discuss individually whatever things we need closures on, etc.
mm,
Anything that needs a discussion
mm,
typically happens in that 9:30 to 10:15 kind of a slot we have earmarked every day. The
mm,
team comes together. We
mm,
use that time productively to actually resolve each other's issues or wherever everybody needs help.
mm,
Post that, we go on to work on our own with
mm,
whatever deliverables, etc., we have set up and lined up, and any conversations that need follow up happen on all these apps. So
mm,
it kind of brings a lot of clarity to thought as to the to-do list. It helps the entire team to work together. So with the latest tools and technologies, remote work has not been an issue. And
yeah.
sorry, I forgot to mention earlier, but I have a lot of experience in working from home. I was working from home for 8 years.
Oh, okay. Before the
Yeah,
before the pandemic, before it became a thing.
before, yes, before it became a thing, before the pandemic, and I have worked 8 years in a remote setup. So for
Mm,
me, it was never a challenge, because I was very used to working in a remote
Right, right. Yeah. I have the same. I have also have a remote setup, and I've been working remotely now for the last 2 years. I don't find it challenging. I believe that if you use the right tools, collaboration tools, communication tools, and whatever, and you have clear differentiation about what to use for what, it does
Yeah.
make life way easier. So I
Great.
believe that remote setup is you get used to it. You know how to make the best of it. So that's great.
Yeah. And I feel it just requires a little, like I would just add that it does require, like for a remote setup to be successful, it does require a little bit of discipline from all parties, right?
Yeah,
Like, because if the discipline is not there, it cannot happen. So
yeah.
the discipline is very, very key ingredient in a
Hmm.
successful remote.
Yeah, cool. Awesome, Priyanka. It was great to talk to you and understand the other perspective of becoming an entrepreneur. And thank you for coming on the show, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you so much, Pallavi, and it was an honor to be part of your show. Thank you so much for this
Thanks.
opportunity.